our single family story begins with foreclosures. Now, if you look at the screen in 2010 here on the left, nearly 3 million homes in the US went into foreclosure. So there's lots of supply for new homeowners and for landlords like me, right? I bought 10 of them. But by 2019, that 3 million had fallen to 500,000. And so effectively, foreclosures really don't add much to the supply at all today. Of course, last year, I had no foreclosures because the government banned them. In 2021, foreclosures may tick up a little bit later in the year. But I have a warning. All of those of you that are expecting a tsunami of foreclosures, I hear about this on social media, such incredible nonsense. You are going to be sorely disappointed. I promise you. Why? Because unlike 2010, today, 98% of homes in the US that are not paying their mortgage have equity in them. Only 2% are upside down. This means that when push comes to shove, owners will choose to sell these properties rather than let a bank foreclose on a profitable property. So if you're waiting for foreclosures, good luck to you. You're going to be waiting for a while. Another reason why there's so much demand today for single family is the rental market, right? One surprising mega trend you can see on the screen is that more affluent renters are now actually turning to rentals like single families, townhomes, not apartments. In fact, this graph shows that since 2012, the percentage of renters making more than $100,000 has grown from 8% of the market to 13% of the market, a pretty stiff growth there. And most of these renters are actually picking up townhomes or single family renters instead of either home ownership, which they can't afford, or apartments. Lots of pressure. And the renter demographic in the US is changing. 20 years ago, most renters were young singles. Today, things have changed so much. Take a look. Young families renting more, middle-aged families renting more, mature families renting more, multi-generational families are living together in large single-family homes. And look at the spike in single-parent rentals for single-family. All of these groups prefer to rent townhomes or single-family rentals over apartments. And so as we move from young single renters to family renters, there's lots of demand for townhomes and single-family rentals. Upward pressure. Another group creating demand are the empty nesters. So instead of downsizing to a smaller house, what they're doing, and previous generations did that, they downsized to a smaller house. These people, they're selling their homes and using the equity to finance their life, and they're renting smaller homes, putting upward pressure on the market. Now, all this upward pressure is raising home prices much faster than wages. As the median sales price that's shown here in red continues to rise, the home price to income ratio is rising because incomes are simply not keeping up with prices. As that ratio goes up, more and more renters are being created because they can't afford to buy a home. In fact, today, 50% of renters say that they can't afford the down payment to buy a home, and 30% cannot qualify for a mortgage. And you might think, no, Neil, I realize that there's a lot of demand, but hey, there's builders, they're just going to build more. Builders are not sitting idle, people. In fact, they're building and selling a lot more homes. This graph shows that except for March and April here, when the pandemic started, builders sold more homes than 2019 in every month. If you look at August and September and October, they were selling 300,000 more homes each month than in 2019, in the middle of a pandemic, right? Today, the lack of land, lack of labor, sky-high lumber prices mean that builders simply cannot build more. You can see a plateau here. They've boosted supply as high as it can go, and I don't think it's going to go up further. And that is why it's no surprise to me at all that Realtor.com is projecting almost a 6% increase in single-family prices, and these are the most bearish people in the marketplace. In fact, if you look, I'm going to skip past this. If you look at what Zillow is showing, Zillow is now projecting a 10% increase in home prices across the country. You might say, yeah, we've seen 10% before. Not 10% aggregate. There are markets in the US like Phoenix that have regularly seen 10, 11, 12% increases. but 10% for the country is extremely rare. And these numbers were all before that $2 trillion bill passed in a few weeks ago. Now everyone is scrambling to raise their projections.